Day two, which was Easter Sunday. I left the hotel, went down and got some fast food, and then took off pretty early. I don't know, 7:30, something like that. It could have even been earlier. I just don't recall. The first thing I had to do, I set up my bicycling computer to set up for this little camping spot that I knew was maybe 70, 80 miles down the road. So the first thing I had to do was bicycle up these long hills through a pretty sketchy neighborhood, because on the other side of those hills, I would encounter a highway which would take me out to where I needed to go. It ran through the suburbs and then into the country to the camping spot I wanted to go to. All's going well so far. Good start to the second day, which was Easter Sunday, as I said. Now I'm riding through this hood, and it was a pretty rough hood. All the houses had those burglar bars on the windows and on the doors, which tells you something. Maybe every third or fourth house had a pit bull in the yard, and who was trying to kill me and just going crazy as I rode by. So that motivated me to get bicycling up that hill. Now, one odd thing that I did observe after I rode 4 or 5 blocks up this hill, and by now these were steep hills. I'm riding past a bar that is sitting on the corner, a saloon. It's Easter Sunday, maybe 8 o'clock in the morning. And there was cars all around the outside of this bar, and the music was blasting. Na, 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 na. They're having a good time. There's even people that are obviously inebriated coming out and leaning on their cars and everything. It's like 8 o'clock Easter Sunday morning, but I don't judge. But I bicycled faster. So I got up over the top of the hill and went down, again, the neighborhood. I went zooming past all the other pit bulls. They had a pit bull convention in that neighborhood, and got down to the highway that I wanted to get on. Now, the highway was pretty empty. I figured it would be Easter Sunday, and that traffic that was there was coming in. Now, I wanted to get past this highway on Easter Sunday because it was, I believe, a 3-lane highway. I'm sure it was. It was a 3-lane highway, incoming, going into San Diego, outgoing, leaving San Diego, and then the turning lane. I wanted to get through this on Easter Sunday, maybe 20, 25 miles, and then I would get into the country, because aside from the lanes, the 3 lanes, there was just a little bitty, and I mean small, like 2-foot area that I could ride in. And then there was just fences and dirt and stuff you didn't want to ride in because it had all kinds of trash and everything in it. All good. So I got on this little path and started cranking, not much traffic. And I get maybe an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, 30 miles down the road, and I get a flat. Now, what I haven't mentioned to you yet is that before I left, one of the last things I did, I went to my favorite bicycle shop where I bought this bicycle and had them order the toughest, baddest, strongest tires made for that bicycle and for touring. These bicycles had steel cords in them, just like a radial tire does on your car. So it's just about puncture proof, because I didn't want to fool with a bunch of flat tires. But there I was, flat tire. So I got off the bike, and there was nowhere immediately available to change this tire. I guess I could have asked the pit bulls if they wouldn't mind me coming into the yard. But anyway, so I walked and walked maybe a mile pushing the bike, and I came to a rest area. By now, I was pretty much out of the suburban area. And so I'm in this rest area. I go into the rest area, and I set my bike up, turn it over, pull the tire. During training, I changed many a flat. So I knew how to change flats. There was no problem. But remember these really tough tires? Well, I got out my bicycle tire tools, which are little plastic things. See the picture? And I was eventually able to put one inside between the rim and the tire. And what you do is you break the bead, it's called. You push down and the tire pops off, and then you work your way around. Take it off, change, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So I pushed, and I couldn't get that son of a gun off. And I pushed, and I pushed. I literally, eventually, after like 45 minutes, pushed so hard that I snapped the tire tool. And they're like this thick. I've mentioned I'm really strong, but that surprised even me. It snapped in half. And now I'm there like, I still can't get it off, and I'm down to one tool. What could I do? So I'm sitting there wondering, and a van pulls in, and two older people jump out. Now, they weren't as old as me, but who is? Two older people got out, and they're changing drivers or something like that. So we struck up a conversation, and they were on a Christian mission going down to Mexico. They told me they go every year. They weren't man and wife. They were just in the same church, and this is what they did. They did this mission. So I'm thinking, remember that bicycle shop that was right next to the hotel that I stayed at that was 30 miles back towards San Francisco or San Diego? Well, I needed to get back to that bicycle shop. And here's some Christian with a van. So I started telling them I couldn't get the tire off. It's a new kind of tire. I don't know how to do it. I have to go back to the bicycle shop, which is 30 miles back that way. Hint, hint, hint. And they're telling me all excited about their Christian mission. They're going in every year, going down to Mexico. They're really excited. I kept bringing them back to 30 miles that way. Me, Vietnam veteran, raising money for the wounded warriors, need a ride back that way. And they didn't catch the hint. Instead, they jumped in their van and they said, well, we'll pray for you. And down the road they went. And I'm still there. So I sat there again for another hour trying to figure out what I was trying to do. I kept trying to get the tire off, but it wouldn't come off. And I didn't want to break my last tire tool. So I had no idea what to do. And a pickup truck pulls in. Maybe. This time, I'm going to just ask outright. So he gets out, and we're just shooting the bull. He comes over and asks what I'm doing, and I'm telling him, I can't get this tire off. I can't break the bead. So he tries. He can't break the bead. I said, well, there's a bicycle shop about 30 miles back that way. I wonder if I could catch a lift. He says, $50. I said, $50? He said, yep. I said, deal. I mean, what was I going to do? So we put the bicycle in the back of the pickup truck and we take off. We're going down the road. And we're doing as men do. You talk about different things. And I told him about my kids. And then he told me about his kids. He said, yeah, it's Easter Sunday, so I'm going to get down and visit my son. I said, nice. He said, yeah, he's in federal prison. I said, he is? What's he in for? He said, well, he went to work for the Border Patrol, and eventually the cartels approached him and bribed him, and the Border Patrol, like they always do, caught him, sentenced him, they sent him to prison, so he's serving his time. And he said, it's kind of like a family tradition. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, both my brother and I fell for the same thing and we had to serve our time. He said, so, I guess as soon as my son gets out in a few years, he'll be joining the family business with my brother and I, and we'll all work together. That just seems to be the way our life goes. So all of a sudden, I'm thinking, I'm riding with a relative of Pablo Escobar, and my K-bar is in my luggage. But it worked out. He took me up to the hotel. I gave him the $50. He dropped me off. We shook hands. And that was it. I checked into the hotel. Back over to the fast food. They said, hey, hombre, what you doing here? And I told them my story. And the bicycle shop, which I didn't think would be open on Easter Sunday, and it wasn't, opened the next day at 9 o'clock. So that was the beginning and ending of the second day. Okay, I want to take a second to talk about the Christians in the van that stopped and didn't help me. Now, I mentioned that they were really excited about their mission trip. And if you've ever been really excited about something, you focus on that. And that's where your mind's at. You can talk to other people, but your mind's on that trip. I believe that's where they were at. I also say the fault was mine. If I would have been bold instead of hint, 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 and said, "Brother, I'm wondering if you can delay your mission for like an hour and take me back to that bicycle shop. I really need the help. I would be happy to donate to your mission, though I doubt I would have had to do that." I'm also convinced then they would have realized that I was in need and would have helped me out. I have found in life that most people, not always, but most people are good, kind, and generous. That has been my experience. I hope that's your experience too.